FM radio, bringing you hot, smoldering topics on a weekly basis. Your participation is important.
It's always a pleasure to be back on the burning issue. It is the 20th of November 2025, and we are grateful that you found time to tune in. We are so looking forward to having a grateful and progressive conversation here on the burning issue, here on 5FM radio on 89.9 in Lusaka and the surrounding areas. Remember, we are also live on our partner radio stations. We are live on Katete FM on 103.3. Katete covers literally the entire Eastern Province. We are grateful for that. And of course, we are also live on Spice FM in Kabwe, covering Central Province on 91.1 FM. And not forgetting ZFM, equally covering the Central Province on 100. And Tuta FM in Mansa, covering Wapula Province on 90.7. We are grateful to you, as well as Mchinga Radio on 88.1, covering the rest of Mchinga Province. Copper Belt is well covered. We have both iWave and Platinum Radio on 90.1 and 99.7, respectively. And iWave is in Chingola, and of course, covering the entire Copper Belt. So is Platinum Radio in Ndola. All right. Well, also follow our conversation on our Facebook page. That's 5FM Radio Zambia. Like the page, share it, but more importantly, leave us a comment or indeed a question for our guest. And I'm your host, Zachariah Banda. Now, our guest today is Mr. Cosmas Chileshe. He is the editor of the UPND Media Team. We had him not long ago because we have a lot of issues, burning issues for that matter, to talk about. Mr. Chileshe, it's a pleasure to have you back, and welcome.
Thank you very much. Look forward to quenching the burning issues that we have this morning on this great platform. And let me take this opportunity to welcome our listeners across the country.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, to you, our listener, we will definitely be giving you an opportunity as well to call in and interact with our guest much later on the number 0955-221515. And also leave us a comment, like I earlier said, on our Facebook page, 5FM Radio Zambia. Now, let's get right into it. The UPND, the last week or two, has really been in the news, especially with the fact that we are coming from Chingola, Chwempala to be precise, where unfortunately, unruly members of the public did actually storm the podium where the president was in readiness to address them. And before we could quench all that, we had a visit from the Israeli president. And also now, not long ago, we saw the PF Secretariat being, attacked by UPND cadres, allegedly. We know that that is also under investigation. So that again came at a time when this country was receiving high-profile people. I mean, to name a few, Africa's richest man, Dangote, was in the country, and Elumelu as well, and these are these are investors who definitely, when they find ground is a bit noisy and violent, it keeps them thinking otherwise, is their investment safe? But other than that, just yesterday, again, this is prior to receiving high-profile dignitaries from China and vice president from Tanzania. And again, this country is talking violence, is talking abductions of high-profile individuals. I mean, this is a minister who served at the highest in government. And when you have such happening, on the other hand, you are receiving high-profile dignitaries to obviously discuss development. You want to wonder what's happening, really. I mean, this should not be happening when we are having such dignitaries coming into this country. But the question is, you failing as UPND now to take charge of your cadres?
Comrade, I would like to state that, first of all, the UPND was voted on the premise of restoring the rule of law in the country. The moment that over 2.8 million people overwhelmingly voted for His Excellency President Hakainde Hichilema into office, what they voted out of office was the violence, which people detested under the Patriotic Front. And this is the Zambia that Zambians wanted to ensure that we have.
Right.
By that, I mean that this administration is firm in ensuring that cadreism ends in our political setup. And that is why we keep saying that we have ended cadreism in bus stations, we've ended cadreism in marketplaces. The UPND is a peaceful party, and that we can see reflective from the leadership of our president, who has from time and again indicated that whoever is found wanting, whoever is found committing crime, they are on their own. So the issues that you have itemized, indeed, they cause some concern to worry, because we would not want our achievements to be cluttered by these isolated incidents of violence. Starting with the Chingola issue, the party has strongly condemned, and it started with our Secretary General, Honorable Patuke Imenda, who came out to restate that under the leadership of President Hakainde Hichilema, there shall be no return of cadreism in this country. If there were party officials who may have been injured by the way they saw the head of state being treated by those unruly sponsored youths in Chingola, we heard statements from party structures who said they would like to protect the president because they felt the president was vulnerable, and which is a normal thing when you see the head of state being treated in such a manner. But what are the issues on the ground? We are aware of the issues pertaining to the Chingola issue, because even when the president acted in good faith, first of all, he must be commended for taking that action to go and mourn with those who were mourning. By this, I mean the marketeers who had lost property. Their livelihood depend on those businesses. It was an unfortunate thing. And as father of the nation, he had to go and stand with them and made a donation of 10 million kwacha to help with the reconstruction of the market and to help other people that were affected in terms of the marketeers. But despite that gesture of goodwill, that message could not even be taken. What came out is the issue of Sensedi.
Right.
But we are all aware that the issue of Senseli up to now, we still have dead bodies that government is still retrieving from that mining part. And any responsible government cannot allow mining to take place in an area where there are skeletons underground. So that issue is being dealt with separately, but of course from the government point you can see the steps that we have taken to formalize the so-called Jerabo, which in previous administration was illegal mining. But this administration has taken a step to formalize, to give recognition to the Jerabos through issuance of artisanal mining licenses so that our youths can mine in a formal way and in a legal manner. And you can see reforms which are taking place under the Ministry of Mines with regards to improve operations in the mining sector, of course, owing to great investor confidence that the UPND has brought in, because prior to the elections, the mining sector had collapsed. KCM was liquidated. Mopani was pulling out. There was no investor confidence. But 4 years down the line, we have resuscitated the mining sector, and Copperbelt is one of the provinces that we are showcasing in terms of our achievements, looking at the revival of the mining activities on the Copperbelt, government moving further to ensure that there is a local content statutory instrument to empower Zambians to have a share in that mining activity. So we should look at the broader perspective of what the UPND has done in terms of reviving our mining industry. And let me take time to explain the issue of mining, because we all know that what has made Zambia to be where it is our activity in the mining sector. By design, God gave us this mineral wealth so that we use them to develop our country. And the strength of the kwacha has largely been dependent on our copper exporter earnings. So you can see the stability of the kwacha right now because of the activity taking place on the copper belt in the mining sector. So there's a great success story we can point out on the copper belt. And mining is not just one sector that we have achieved on the copper belt. Talk about the road network going on the copper belt. So there's a lot that the people of the copper belt, and in particular people in Chingola, should appreciate this government for, of what we have done. So to allow an incident like Chiwempala to overshadow these gains will be a disservice. And that is why we should not allow also these isolated incidences to overshadow the bigger picture of the achievements that we have recorded. Mm-hmm. And we are aware that it's not just in the mining sector. We have recorded in the agriculture sector, despite having gone through the worst drought recorded in living memory. We are boasting of a bumper harvest. That's in the agriculture sector. If previous administration were talking about diversifying our economy from mining to agriculture, I think we can showcase that the UPND demonstration has delivered on that aspect in terms of diversifying our economy, so that we're not just dependent on mining activities. So I'm trying to highlight these achievements amidst
I know
the cases of violence.
And see, no matter how much you're going to bring out achievements, I mean, we saw this under the PF. I mean, it's not long ago. The PF spoke highly of infrastructure development. They sang, they were boasting around how much they have achieved in as far as infrastructure is concerned. And we could see quite all right. But still, the violence costed an election on them. And equally here is where we are. Right now, you're going to tell us all that you have achieved. It may not mean anything for anybody who detests terrorism out there. So much as you have achieved more, as long as there is this, I don't think, and I'm speaking this from the fact that we saw, right, in 2021. So how then do you think that all this development, you will still have it next year and beyond, and be able to still talk about it if you haven't cleared the issue of violence on the ground? There seem not to be political will in curtailing this.
The political will is very strong, right from our president, who has indicated that whoever is found wanting, they are on their own. And we have urged the police to move in quickly. But even then, the call has been for the police to be proactive to these matters, so that they are able to see the occurrence of these things even before they happen. First of all, if you look at the former ruling party, the Patriotic Front, there are factions within the PF. You have Chabinga issuing instructions that he doesn't want anybody to go to use the stamp or do anything at party secretariat. You have another faction group that is disapproving decisions that, for instance, Given Lubinda has made prior to the issue in Kabwe. We had Davis Mwila condemning Given Lubinda for making those appointments of those two officials to their central committee. And 2 hours later, we see on social media that Given Lubinda has been attacked in such a manner. And this time, even if it's faction groups within the PF, they would not want to be identified in that way. They have found it fashionable to pick a UPND t-shirt and commit such a crime, so that when it is reported, whenever people see a red t-shirt, they conclude that it is the UPND that is violent. That is why we are calling on the police quickly to investigate these cases. There are videos of people who have come openly, some that we have even disowned, like the person from Kabwe purporting to be the acting youth chairperson in the name of Kelvin Mwangala. Information we have from the provincial administration is that the substantive person in the structure is Herbert Malumo, who is the youth chairperson for the district. Now, in my language, we say, Akano Kamila and Dukala Isosela. We have seen these people even after they have committed crimes, starting from Chingola. We saw the youths posting videos on TikTok, making further comments, identifying themselves openly that they did that. So we are calling on members of the public to help the police in identifying these people that they are able to see, because they are living within our community. So we call upon well-meaning Zambians who are able to identify these people that have come out openly on social media to state their involvement in the acts of either Chingola, with the recent case of Kabwe. Their faces are visible. So let the police move in quickly and bring those culprits to book. But as much as the party is concerned, we have distanced ourselves from these acts of violence, which we continue condemning, and we are still urging the police to help the nation in bringing the culprits to book. Otherwise, we stand to reiterate our position that we were elected on the platform of removing violence from our political system. And those are the gains that we should continue celebrating. And we should not allow those who are not happy with our achievements to use these criminals by giving them our regalia so that the achievements are watered down. And these things are well orchestrated. They are happening at a time we are recording on our diplomatic diplomatic engagement. You have made reference to the visits that we have had. These are the gains that we keep recording. The restoration of the Israeli embassy in Zambia is something that we commend ourselves as a Christian nation. We align ourselves with the people of the Bible. That is good for us as well. But overall, there are economic benefits that we are getting from this engagement. We have the
We'll talk on that. We'll talk about that. Let me just conclude and finish off with the issue of violence, and then we get into those engagements. And I think that we're making reference, much as you've said that, look, this government was elected, the UPND was elected into government on the basis to come and end violence. But here you have a member of parliament for Wengwa, Honorable Kasautu, who calls back Kadarism. How do you then, make comparisons? And
I think the Honorable clarified that position, the manner with which he made that statement. And I want to underscore that every party official is entitled to their freedom of expression, which does not necessarily become the party position. And that is why when there are those statements, the chief government spokesperson, who is also our chairman for information, came out to nullify those statements being null and void because they do not represent the official position of the party. But we do respect their entitlement to make those statements in the manner that they felt aggrieved by those pictures, particularly that came from Chingola, where the member of parliament was saying that we need to protect our party president because we cannot allow him to be vulnerable. And the return to cadreism should not be synonymous to making the call to the return of violence. That is not what the UPND stands for. We ride on the platform of having been voted to remove violence in our political system. So the Secretary General's position still remains that there shall be no return of cadreism under the leadership of President Hakainde Hichilema. We learn everything from our president. Our president is methodical, he has an excellent spirit, and there's no violence in any way. He's a man of peace, not just promoting local peace, but even regional peace. And that is the leader that we have. And that spirit should be filtered through to the lowest rank and file of our party structures. And that's why he keeps saying that if there are any youths who want to go to the street and commit crimes, they are on their own. So that is the premise on which the law enforcement agencies should move in, because the president is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces.
Do you think that do you feel they are not doing enough in terms of law enforcement agencies? The fact that the president has made many calls and they seem not to be action taken, especially arrests on the ruling party members that are actually causing violence, for example. I mean, there's been a lot of expectation. Let me just bring you to what is latest here at the Patriotic Secretariat, and I think that the political party UPND did accept that a few were identified as your members, and there's no action taken. And then the people are saying, fine, it's because it's the UPND, so the police cannot do anything. So you are calling for the police to act only on the opposition and not the ruling party members.
I would not be in a position to speak for the police. The police has their own spokesperson,
right?
But I will speak from a concerned position, which concern our chief government spokesperson also made reference to when he held a press briefing on Sunday after the PF Secretariat incident. The call is not just for them to expedite in investigating these matters. The call also starts from them being proactive, because how do you allow such a procession to start with, which does not have any permit to go and commit such crimes? What are they doing? So we share the concern of the public in terms of enforcement part, but we want to believe that we have a professional police service. When we were voted into office, we didn't come with our own police. We found the same police service. They're the same police that were there when the previous administration was in office, the same police that we found. So we would not doubt their capacity to investigate these matters, but I think they should also be politically savvy to understand how damaging these acts, if they are not acted upon, that they may have on downplaying our achievement. But we are also aware of the other tactics that are being perpetuated by the opposition parties in these same acts of violence. We are aware of the fact of these factional groups. You can't leave them out from the violence that is taking place, much as there are some who feel it fashionable that when they put on UPND regalia and they go to PF Secretariat, then the blame immediately will be shifted from this factional group. They will be saying it's the UPND who are doing that. And that is why we are saying, whether somebody is wearing a UPND regalia, the position of the party is that we condemn violence. And since we are not a law enforcement agency, we are there to assist the police in investigating these matters. And that is why our National Youth Chairperson, Comrade Gilbert Liswaniso, was magnanimous enough not to hide any of those that we were able to identify to belong to our structures. So that is why he said, yes, he has been able to identify some of those. Now, it only ends there because within the party we have our own disciplinary code of conduct, which will affect those that will be cited to be tarnishing the name of the party or making the party into disrepute.
Right.
We have our own internal disciplinary procedure, which we will follow. But on the other side, there's the police that should also come in. And as a party, we are ready to assist them if there are any of those that belong to our structures. And that is the same statement coming from the provincial chairperson of the UPND in Central Province, who is also the provincial minister, Honorable Mwabashike Nkulukusa, condemning the issue from Kabwe and requesting Honorable Given Lubinda to report the matter formally to the police, and the administration is ready to assist in
bringing the culprits to book.
Exactly. So we are here to help the police with these investigations, and it is not our duty to request them. They know what they are there for, as mandated by the Constitution. So we wish to reiterate and still make this call that the public are demanding for answers and would like the police, either through their spokesperson or through the Inspector General, to make a statement on the progress that has been made with regards to youths that have been arrested in Chingola. When are they appearing in court? What arrests have been made by the issue that happened at the PF Secretariat? What issue is being made with regards to the recent case in Kabwe? So it is left for the police. And if they are listening to this broadcast, they understand what the party, but overall, Zambians are expecting to hear from them.
Right.
Because the judge's rules are clear, which guide on how a prosecution or an arrest should be conducted. That the police officer endeavoring to discover the author of a crime shall be free to put questions to anybody they think will give them useful information. So matters relating to law enforcement are outside the party, but the party's position should be respected, and we stand with Zambians who would want to see that justice is not only done, but it should also be seen to be done through an active media that should also play as a watchdog to society in ensuring that justice prevails in this country, because that is the basis on which we were voted in office, to ensure that we restore the rule of law. Every time when the president is addressing the crowd, he asks people, would you want us to go back to that era of violence, of thuggery? The position is no, and it shall never happen under his leadership. And him as Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, we want to stand with him in saying that every youth that is committing crime, or any member of the public that chooses or finds it fashionable to wear a UPND t-shirt and commit crime, may the law take its course.
This is the first edition of The Burning Issue. My guest is Mr. Cosmas Chileshe. He is editor of the UPND Media Team. And let's now, let me also recognize that you are an ex-diplomat, all right? And the reason why we feel you would best, help us understand the high-level bilateral meetings that are taking place in this country. Let's start with the Israeli one. I mean, of what benefit is that to Zambia? What are we looking at?
First of all, I would like to underscore that the UPND, in its economic mandate for this country, is achieving economic development through economic diplomacy. And economic diplomacy becomes a key issue to delivering on our economic mandate. Previously, they were saying President Hichilema is the most traveled president. What we are now seeing are the results of those travels that he made. He made a trip to Israel, and what we are seeing 2 years after that is the restoration of the Israeli embassy in Zambia. There is a lot in terms of agriculture, in terms of skills training. We can learn from the nation of Israel. And the president was very clear during these visits implementing our agricultural system. You may wish to know that we have targeted 500,000 hectares of irrigation, because you see, Zambia, as was recognized by President Mnangagwa, Zimbabwean president, of that speech in the last bilateral, which has now been elevated. These joint permanent commissions have now been upgraded to by national commissions, where heads of state are fully involved, not just respective ministers in various sectors of the economy. What was Mnangagwa saying? He was urging President Hichilema to ensure that Zambia remains the food basket for the region, because Zambia is known for that. So from the Israeli visit, we want to tap into their expertise so that we can achieve these 500,000 hectares of irrigation land that will be implemented. What does this mean? It means whether we have rain or no rain, there will still be food. So part of this diplomatic engagement is to tap into these skills for us to implement these projects effectively. There are other issues related to health. We've got the best medical doctors specialized in heart surgery from Israel. And there's a lot of training of our students, scholarships that have been trained. And the Israeli government said they are proud to have Zambian students in their country to receive this capacity building. And the president that we want these students back, so that what they have learned from there, they can come and apply it locally here. So the nation of Israel also is very significant. Zambia, as a Christian nation, aligns well in terms of its bilateral relations, but also the president made an opportunity to call for peace in Palestine and Gaza region. And he stands with the Israeli government in ensuring that a ceasefire is reached, and he commended them for making those initiatives. So apart from the Israeli visit and the return of the embassy, of course, after a closure of 50 years or so, that is a great milestone on our part,
but also
both from economic and also spiritual sense.
But would you speak?
Christian
would you speak to the fact that other players in this country, in terms of politicians, have said, look, contrary to the president's visit, his visit has the potential to injure our counterparts, the South Africans, who in their own have a case against Israel in The Hague, and to that effect there is a bench warrant for Netanyahu, and so probably it's the issue of you can't be a friend to my enemy if you are my friend too, you know.
Yeah, we respect the sovereignty of countries in the region that have taken their position, but our foreign policy is totally different because of our sovereignty as well. Like rightly you have stated that your enemy is not my enemy. So we have a non-aligned foreign policy. We are not aligned to the east or to the west. We embrace everybody. So our relations are based on that. Sorry to get back, even the issue of Zimbabwe with the sanctions posed on them. You saw our president standing with Zimbabwe to ensure that those sanctions are removed, saying that if they had value at the time they were imposed, that value does not stand anymore. So I think the leadership that Zambia in the global setting it has taken, it's something that should be emulated by other regional countries or countries in the world. And if you look at Zambia, Zambia is not an ordinary country. Zambia plays a very significant role either in the region, well geographically located with its 10 neighboring countries, which gives us an advantage in terms of trade. We can trade with 9 countries around through export. So not just in the region, but also I think we are getting a continental leadership because of the leadership that President Hakainde Hichilema has brought to the fore. But is emulated even at the regional level because they are looking at the leadership of this country that he inherited that was heavily indebted. You mentioned of the infrastructure development that the PF did, but are we also looking at the indebtedness with which those infrastructure are brought to the core? It needed an economic manager in the name of President Hakainde Hichilema to turn the tables round. And the previous administration had no capacity whatsoever. They could only allow us to default. And when you default as a nation, you are bankrupt. And that is the situation we inherited. But this time the story is different. And this sort of leadership is what we are saying, that we need to appreciate this leadership, celebrate these gains, which are unprecedented. Look at the CDF, how it has been a game changer, that through local resources that have been mobilized, we are able to take this country to another level of being a construction site. Look at infrastructure development taking place in these local authorities through the increased allocation, which is standing at 40 million kwacha per constituency. So that is our approach to the economic management. We are managing this economy prudently without getting into the pit of a debt which was a python, but thanks to the restructuring process, which has made Zambia as a case study for other countries they are emulating this leadership. And these are the gains that we are looking at. It's the bigger picture, which we cannot allow these isolated cases of violence, of just somebody putting on a UPND regalia and commit crime so that it overshadows these gains that we are focusing on. So we want to thank President Hichilema for his statesmanship through economic diplomacy that he has continued to engage the country. So this is the fruit of the various international trips that he made to Israel, that he made to China, which today we are seeing the head of government from China coming to actualize.
We'll touch on the Chinese trip to Zambia, but let's also go to the fact that I know we should have started with this, but nonetheless, let's go to Tanzania, right? The trip made to Tanzania, obviously on the inauguration of the Tanzanian president, but that was mad with a lot of condemnation. Okay, that he shouldn't have taken that trip. Other than the fact that he himself, the president, says he went there obviously to to heal the country, help heal the country, and calm down the nerves of the citizens of that country. But let's look at it from a different perspective. As an ex-diplomat, what does that do in terms of Zambia's relations with Tanzania? Had he also not gone for that inauguration?
It would have been disastrous for our economy. Much of our imports are coming through Tanzania. If you look at these second-hand vehicles, South Africa cannot allow you to drive a second-hand vehicle in their country. You have to put it on a truck. But Tanzania allows us to bring in those vehicles into our country, which have a huge impact on our economy at Zambia. We have certain assets which we jointly own with Tanzania. Talk of the Tazama pipeline, which have a huge economic benefit to our country. So we have an interest in issues happening. The instability of Tanzania will become the instability of Zambia because of these joint assets. So that was leadership. And again, I want to commend President Hichilema for being a peacemaker, for that statesmanship, that bold decision that he took to ensure that there's restoration of law and order, there's restoration of peace in that country. And I think the message that he even gave there, if you listen through the message, when I listened to it, at a personal level, I thanked God. I said to myself that God has touched his mouth, because what he was saying word for word was a commanded word, but from the Lord. He gave his own experience of what he went through and how that violence does not pay, even when you feel untreated, unfairly treated in a situation, as he cited examples, how his election was stolen, but never did he allow cadres to go on the street. He was the first person to call for peace because he realized that he's not going to take over a country that has been ruined because he supported violence, or to address matters in a manner which is not provided for. So overall, that is a sort of leadership that he demonstrated. And I think all well-meaning Tanzanians, they appreciate that kind of support that we gave to our neighbor, but largely because our infrastructure is in Tanzania. So we had to look at the bigger picture. If it was not for that, even the gains that we will be celebrating today, like the groundbreaking of the revitalization of the Tazara that will be taking place this afternoon at Mulungushi with the visit of the Chinese envoy. So that is the bigger picture. If he did not do that, even these gains would not have been recorded. So it's from that standpoint that President Hichilema keeps on scoring on this diplomatic score, and we wish to commend him for that. If there was a way, apart from the honor that he was being given, there should be another award for him to champion peace, not just in Zambia, but regional and continental peace.
What is expected out of this groundbreaking, really, in terms of development to the rail line going forward?
This is a great commitment that has been demonstrated. You may wish to know that the Chinese government, they place a lot of importance on the Tazara. That is their symbol of friendship with the African continent, and Zambia being the host of this great infrastructure. that they have done. But it's not just in the rail transport. There is also great undertaking that is taking place in the mining sector with regards to the revival of some of the mining companies on the copper belt. There's a great engagement that we are getting from the Chinese government in terms of sorting out our energy deficit with the with the implementation or construction of these solar plants. We had the Chisamba solar plant giving us 100 megawatts, and there's the journey to the 1,000 solar generation that we've embarked on, so that the energy deficit, this issue of load shedding, it's quite top on our agenda. And the president keeps saying that if there's something that is giving him a sleepless night, it's the issue of load shedding. And for sure, we are not going to allow load shedding to overshadow the gains that we have recorded. But what is it that we are doing? We are working towards ending load shedding through this engagement. And this kind of visit, it's historic. In 28 years of our relations, we are having this sort of a visit at this level. So it just shows the kind of commitment the Chinese government have placed in terms of our bilateral relations and helping us in many areas that we are in need of. But most importantly, the issue of energy, which the Chinese government are helping us in terms of setting up solar plants. And why are we saying solar? Because that is the way to go. This is the only administration that is massively investing in these alternative sources of energy. Since independence, our dependence on electricity has been hydro, and 80%. Not even our neighbors, Zimbabwe, that we share the Kariba Dam with, their dependency on hydroelectricity is about 50%. Us, it's 80%. What does that show? We have never invested in these alternative sources of energy. So through these strategic engagements, the high-level visit is what is helping us to sort out these issues that we are talking about. But when you look at the Tazara and the Tazama, these are other key critical infrastructure that play a key role in our economic development in terms of fuel as well as transportation
but
of our goods and services.
Yeah, there are questions that are obviously being asked by most citizens. What sort of rail line are we, or rail transport are we upgrading to? Is it electric? It's been sung, because also that Tanzania has really upgraded and they have advanced in as far as rail transportation is concerned. Are we getting a replica of that into Zambia and so on? I think there's been a cry around that in terms of getting obviously faster means of transporting both minerals and just keep them off the road, and also for trade as well, because then that speed trains would definitely take you into Tanzania and back on same day and do business. Is that what people expect in terms of upgrade?
I think that is the expectation of these upgrades, and I think from a media point of view now, we should now help in creating visibility around the groundbreaking of these initiatives. So I think that is the next step. Both of us as a media team from the ruling party and the media in general, we can help now in giving meat to these, what sort of expectations that we see. But I think what we should commend is the goodwill to improve this infrastructure. Then other things can fall into place, because we all travel. We are able to see the kind of advanced infrastructure in terms of rail transport.
Yeah.
And in most of these developed countries, it's the most reliable, safe, and also helping in not just transporting passengers, but also goods as well, which also speaks to boosting on our exports as well as economic activity, because it's not just going to Tanzania, but it's the route to the port, and then you have that market. Same as well on the western side, we have the Lobito corridor that is being implemented with the help of the American government and other partners, so that the export to this other side are also enhanced.
Yeah.
But also that speaks to the advantaged position that we have geographically as a nation, that we are able to expand and become a regional hub for many things.
Yeah.
And I think that is the position we are seeing President Hakainde Hichilema taking the nation of Zambia to, and it is all working in line with the national vision that seeks to make Zambia a middle prosperous income country by 2030. And it's only this administration with an acronym of development in it, the United Party for National Development. What we stand for is development, and we are determined to deliver this economic development to where we are supposed to be. And that is why all these other parties had their own time. This time around, it's time for economic development.
Yeah.
And the UPND is rightly placed. And 4 years in office, 90% of what our manifesto contains has been delivered. And we are aware of these few remaining things like load shedding. Then it will complete the overall economic mandate under which the United Party was voted into for office.
Still on relations with Tanzania, I'm also aware that in the very recent, actually, should be a week ago, the president has called for speedy works to be done on the interconnector that is obviously coming into from Tanzania into Zambia. Where are we? And when he says he's calling for speedy works, how soon does he want this?
Yeah, issues like the power interconnector, of course, they have a bearing on other countries which are party to this. But of course, when you look at the Tanzanian situation, you can understand the pace at which some of these things may take. But now that the president has been re-elected, peace has returned, we should see quick implementation of some of these projects. Same with the interconnector to do with the Mozambique. Not too long ago, we had the President Chapo from Mozambique in the country as well. So you can see the kind of strategic engagement that President Hichilema is having with leaders in the region, Mozambique, Zimbabwe, Tanzania. So we are on the right track. The aspect of quick implementation, I think those are issues that technocrats now have to quickly ensure that they're implemented. But at that top level, we want to appreciate the goodwill and the commitment that regional presidents, our president as well, have shown in ensuring that we bring solutions to many sectors that have been affected either from previous administrations' poor governance or issues relating to climate change, which affected both agriculture and our energy sector. But the difference is the sort of leadership which is now in place, which leadership was not there. And that is why we are concerned as a ruling party that the gains that we have achieved in 4 years, an unprecedented pace of development. And that is why there's this success story that we still keep speaking to. But our enemies would like to use violence because they still have not liked it that we have performed better than they did in the period that they were given office.
Let's find out on where. Not that you speak for the president, but I think that you may have just an idea, because look, I mean, the fact is we are getting into an election year, and Zambians are complaining about electricity, and the government seem not to be doing anything about it in the immediate for the sake of winning an election, right? Because you know that politicians, we've experienced this before, where in an election year, by all means, you should just make sure that there is electricity available, because that's the only complaint Zambians are left with against your rule. But the president doesn't seem bothered to get to any means, okay, to make electricity available for the sake of winning an election. You know, any politician would do that, but this one doesn't. Why so?
I think we need to commend the honestness of this administration. Even when we are going into the 2026 general elections, this is the only administration that is speaking to the facts. We will not go into an election to make promises. We'll go into this election to showcase the achievements that we have done, and we are proud to document these achievements sector by sector. But while we talk about these achievements, we are not going to allow the issue of load shedding to blind the nation from our achievements. First of all, I would like to appreciate Zambians that have stood with this administration in cleaning up the mess that was left by the Patriotic Front. There's an element of sacrifice that Zambians have given, and the achievements that we have recorded could not have come if Zambians did not stand with us in going through the challenges that we have gone through. For that, I would like to commend the Zambians. But the most important thing, even as communication departments, that we need to achieve is a mutual understanding. The issue of load shedding that we are dealing with is not something that the UPND has created. We are dealing with an historical problem here. We are dealing with a challenge where previous administrations, from independence, they never thought that there will be issues of climate change, for instance. And even when the UPND was in opposition campaigning, we did not see that there will be a drought. It just found us while we were in office. We did not see that there will be war in Ukraine and Russia to affect some of our supplies in agriculture, like fertilizer. But there's the resilience that this administration has built around the Zambian economy. And that is where the success is. That despite having gone through the worst drought, today we are boasting of a bumper harvest. That despite having gone through this drought that has depleted the water levels in Kariba, there is a journey to 1,000 megawatts, which we should achieve in terms of generating power through solar. Come rain, come sunshine, there's a journey we have embarked on to produce 1,000, almost meeting the deficit that we currently have. That effort should be appreciated. Yes, there is a problem, but what is it that we are doing to address this problem? And this is the direction that the UPND has gone into. There is no government since independence that has placed so much of emphasis to invest in thermal, in solar, as part of our diversification in the energy mix. And this is what we are doing. And any well-meaning Zambian will understand and not just say you have failed to end load shedding. They will understand where we are coming from. They will understand where we are and what we were faced with. They will understand these interventions that we are doing in addressing the energy crisis. And already on the journey of this 1,000 megawatts, Samba has reduced by giving us 100. There are other solar plants around the country, this one producing 50, this one producing 70. So by now, we may even have achieved up to 500. But we are determined to ensure that as we continue establishing these infrastructure through these strategic engagements, there's a phase 2 of Samba, which will give another 1,000. So we are saying that we are determined to end load shedding. So somebody cannot say, but why is it not ending now? You can see the direction that we are moving into, and that is why we are saying that voting the UPND out will mean bringing load shedding more. Voting the UPND out will mean no free education.
But voting the UPND in 21,
will consolidate the gains.
21,
yes,
was to end load shedding. Right.
And this is what we are doing in ending load shedding, except that it cannot be a plug and play thing so that load shedding has ended. But the efforts that we are doing is what we are trying to bring to people to understand so that they can stand with us while we are finding a lasting solution.
A desperate consumer of electricity out there, a consumer of electricity out there are having conversation on the street and they're saying, ababakalusa my election, abanabo. Ngabamanathi bayama elections kuchitako mask mwaleta kwa malaiti fika twakwata kwa malaiti until after my elections, then you portray true character.
No, we have been honest in addressing these matters. There's no magic play to play. What we are doing is the right thing in coming up with a solution. And even as we get into next year, you see, I wouldn't want the narrative to change that it's because it's an election year, that's why now load shedding has ended.
Yeah,
no,
it can change.
Load shedding
it is like
end because of these efforts that we are making, not because it to be an election year. So you understand that narrative.
Yeah.
While you may want that we falsify the situation to create a picture that we've sorted out an issue and the problem.
That gives you a vote.
We're a very honest government. And that is
so you
why
would rather, if it means losing an election, you would rather lose while being honest.
I think the most important thing.
Yeah. Is that what you're saying?
The most important thing is for Zambians to understand these efforts that we are making to end load shedding. Once they have the understanding, they'll still give us a vote, even if we would not have ended the issue of load shedding, because they are able to see where we are taking them. We are taking them to a promised land where load shedding will be a thing of the past. And the efforts like these strategic engagements, and China has been an all-weather friend to help us to end load shedding. If you look at some of the videos, how China has implemented the solar power projects, that is what we are tapping into, and that is why these visits are important. At that level, we are assured that we've got strategic partners to help us in ending load shedding. So I can assure Zambians, it won't be long. The efforts that we have put in place will ensure that we sort out the issue of load shedding.
My guest this morning on the Thursday edition of The Burning Issue is Mr. Cosmas Chileshe. He is editor of the UPND Media Team, and we've discussed quite a number of issues pertaining to development as well as the political violence that we are witnessing. All this is in a quest for us to have a better Zambia tomorrow, and more especially that we are getting into an election year. Well, it's that time when you can add your voice to these conversations on 0955221515. That's the number you're calling us on. Don't forget, we are live on Isunga Radio, and that is in Senga Hill, Northern Province. We are live on Katete FM in Eastern Province as well, covering the entire Eastern Province. Spice FM, Central Province. So is ZFM, and that is Kawe and Kapiri Mposhi, respectively. We have Tuta FM in Mansa, Muchinga Radio in Chinsali, covering Muchinga Province, and iWave FM Radio in Chingola, and as well as Platinum Radio in Indola, both covering the entire Copper Belt. All right, I'll be taking your calls. Once again, the number is 0955221515. Let's pick up this first call. Good morning.
Good morning, thank you. How are you, sir?
I'm fine, thank you. And thank you for calling. Please share your name and where you're calling us from.
Yes, please. I'm calling from Chinsali. This is Chisenga.
From Chinsali?
Chisenga.
Oh, okay. How is Chinsali, by the way, Mr. Chisenga?
Yeah, Chinsali is cool. Chinsali is cool. I've been blessed with the rain.
Are you back in the fields? Are you back in the field? It's farming time, eh?
Yeah, back in the field. Yes, we are on the offstage, some offstage.
Oh, okay, and some offsets, of course.
Yes.
And I'm sure you can't wait for Saturday so that you can visit that field, right?
No, we can't.
Is that saying that we are grateful that you've called all the way from Chinsali? Please go ahead.
Yes, please. Thank you. Mr. Cosmas, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Tsenga. Thank you for coming through.
Sure, please. Yeah, as you know, I'm in Chinsali. This is Muchinga Province.
Yes.
I just want to add my voice on the discussion, the beautiful discussion that you have with the Mr. Guest, whereby my main concern is about the peace. He has talked about the peace that Mr. President, ever President, good President, has brought. Yes, I can agree with him that yes, he's been talking and preaching about the peace, unity, in the country for the betterment of our country and for the development of our country. But I just want to know that the candidates or his followers who is disturbing the preaching of the Mr. President, because the peace that Mr. Cosmas Chileshe is talking about, I can't see it in Zambia, because this is a government where most people, most citizens of this beautiful country has fled the country. We can name them that in a number, a lot of people that have fled the country because of, I don't know, Mr. Chileshe can explain. Yesterday it was Mr. Ruvinda, it was Mr. this and that, So I don't know which issues that Mr. Guest is talking about. And again, I don't know when they are going to stop using the previous regime, because we voted out the previous regime because of the mess that we were seeing. No, I just don't know. Maybe it's that saying of the bad carpenter when used to. If I married a person who was married before, I cannot keep on talking about that. Oh, no wonder why you're in each and every day. Can you please for once stop using the name of PF in your mouth? Whenever you open your mouth, it's PF, the Daffy, the Messi, the course. No, I did that. Anyway, you can comment on that. Otherwise, that's my main concern. Talk about the peace that Mr. President has been preaching, but we cannot see that peace. The capitalism that we are seeing now, we cannot even compare to the capitalism that we've been seeing in PF, whereby opposition political leaders, opponents being abducted, daylight, and thereafter they come in the media to say, no, they are not UPND, the stage project. What kind of thinking is that? Please, can you please help me that?
Thank you.
I thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chisenga, for that. I've got pretty much a similar comment on Facebook. Let me read it out before we take the next call. This one is from Prophetess. So Prophetess says, I'm listening to this man making excuses for the violence, the position of the party, mantra, people wearing red shirts, mantra, etc. We will not fly. We voted out PF not because we didn't like the Aligadia. They were doing the same things you are doing. What needs to be done is, one, arrest the attackers of the PF secretariats. Two, arrest and prosecute the attackers of Given Lubinda, not tomorrow, but yesterday. Three, stop the spin of suggesting someone else is responsible for the violence. In our eyes, it is UPND. Let me give you another call. Good morning.
Cosmas Chileshe.
Mashukat Pamkwai.
Hey, I'm quiet. That Elvis on the line.
Thank you.
Zach, how are you?
I'm fine. How do you greet a visitor and not the owner of the house?
No,
First.
we greet the visitor.
First Kupanga D. Elvis, please, thanks for calling. Go ahead.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Issue ya malaiti ile chita effective one thing. Ina malaiti for 3 months now. Shishi wepo yeshida, nepo yela. Nishafe phone kuchaja. Nasanga uruchero na isulako. But ina ufati yesa kuma 02, yaya kuma 04 just for 2 hours. But the good thing is that this government is not just standing and looking at it like that. They are doing something. This is why even the president was talking about the interconnector from Tanzania to Zambia. Because he's also in a hurry to give the people of Zambia electricity. So I think what needs to be done is to quicken the process of finding alternative sources of other electricity in this country. Because most of the businesses have gone down because of electricity. As Dangote said, there's no country which can develop without electricity. So I think my leader, my president, Zachariah Chileshe, is making sure that we are given electricity, but let the government quicken the process. Coming to the issue of violence, Cosmas, PF. And the reason why, the reason why you have to initiate PF, there's no way we can be justifying the Cosmas the UPND. Let me give you an example. Me, I used to call direct leaders, top leaders in the PF, telling them that abantu balekitefyo ngokulauma abantu pa station baletona election bakalenga my election tukaluze. That was what I was telling them. What was the answer they were giving me? Whatever bantu besu, those are just criminals. That's what the answer was. That's the answer which was given to me. I cannot mention names here, but they know themselves. Top leaders abakulu bakipani ebo nale tumina. Because this system, I was even a victim myself when I talked about it. They even threatened, they told me that not Wishibapana and Dapamove to Kesa Kuchakula Popem. You know? So let's tame this violence. Otherwise, the people of Zambia and Adisambida, Tabafuaya, Ulubuli. Let's condemn the violence and make sure that let's have a president, and the president has engaged them. This is the reason why some of us even joined the UPND, because we saw the sanity which was there. But what has started to, no matter how much we justify this, I'm telling you, it is going to leave a very bad dent on the party. And the president himself, who has been advocating for peace, this president has been advocating for peace since he came into government. For me, I cannot justify the Cosmas. I'm a UPND now, but the Kenny if Filippo, Gilbert is on the record talking that that was Gilbert. And he said, all those who be found wanting, they'll be chucked out. Please, Cosmas. Na papata. Let's not make our party unpopular. This is a very popular party. As you have elaborated, Cosmas, almost 90% of the promises, as you say.
Thank you, Elvis. And unfortunately, yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Elvis. Thank you. Thank you very much. Maybe I give you an opportunity to react as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks to Mr. Tsenga from Chinsali.
Right.
Comrade Elvis for coming through, and our sister, prophetess that made a comment on our Facebook page. For sure, the position of the party is that we have also condemned these acts of violence. We are concerned because it's denting on our achievements. Instead of the nation looking at what we have achieved, we are now looking at issues that not even supposed to be in place in the first place. But the concern that I share with the callers is that we want to also see as a party the position that the police is taking over these matters. Like Comrade Elvis has indicated that, yes, our National Youth Chairperson, Comrade Gilbert Liswaniso, indicated that some of those youths that were spotted at the PF Secretariat belong to our structures. Now, if somebody is magnanimous enough to own without disowning those, the issue now that everyone else, including ourselves in the party, are asking is that, what has the police done? So I share the concern of Zambians with regards to us condemning violence. Of course, we are aware that some of the criminals have found it fashionable to get our T-shirt and commit a crime while wearing a UPND T-shirt so that they say it is the UPND doing this. And that is why we are saying that whether those putting on party regalia are our members or criminals or whatever status they are in society, where there are videos with facials or faces being seen, we call upon members of the public to give that information to the police so that arrests can be conducted. I totally agree with the callers that violence must be condemned, and that is the party position. So those that are known to be UPND, the president has said they are on their own. But we are not a police. We are only a ruling party. And the ruling party has made its position that we have condemned all those attacks, starting from Chingola, PF Secretariat in Lusaka, with the issue of yesterday in Kabwe involving Honorable Given Lubinda. The party has condemned. Whether those that perpetrated those things belong to our structures, we are waiting for the police to arrest them. And we are urging the media to ensure that justice is not just done, it must be seen to be done so that it can serve as a lesson to any of the perpetrators. So we share with the concern of the public, and we are making this call to the police. Probably the media should pick up to find out from the police what they have done. And they cannot be seen to be operating on instructions from the party. They understand what they are supposed to do. So if at all they are not helping, as members of the public are saying through the calls that we are receiving, that is an action now for the commander-in-chief to take action. But in as much as the party is concerned, we condemn those acts. Whether those youths belong to us or not, we want to see that they are arrested. But we are also aware of some fugitives that are running from criminality. They are appearing in court and they have chosen to run away to seek asylum. The party has made a position. My director has even written to concerned host countries so that those fugitives who are running away from criminality, they can be handed back to face the law in this country. So they cannot run away and start faking images, including posting an image of a Chinese national as given Lubinda. And that is coming from the chief fugitive, Emmanuel Mwamba. As usual, in his style of politics, propaganda. So we cannot leave out the patriotic front as well. How come that Mwamba can get a picture of a Chinese to protest that this is given Lubinda in hospital? What sort of propaganda is that? So why would we be stopped from thinking that it's factional groups who are fighting? Because that incident happened 2 hours before Given Lubinda was being reprimanded, and it's not the first time that Given has been attacked by his own cadres. But we are not distancing those that belong to the party that could have been part of these groups. And that is why we are saying, can the police help us? So that these perpetrators are brought to book. We are also tired. We want to see that justice is done.
Can I take some more calls?
Sure.
Yeah, please. 0955-22-1515 is the number. And just maybe to add, Cliff Siabona on Facebook says, good morning. As UPND, we must be careful with this violence happening now because those opposition are actually trying by all means to decampaign us through cadarism. Well, just re-echoing what you've already said. Let's take this call. Good morning. Enkwai twashubuka mabuka shamkwai atibani muletu mina kwe bamwira muletu mina garden please konkanye nipo mkwai
mkwai wa Cosmas Chileshe
mkwai babwila mashukeni
wino
natotela mkwai
mkwai ine phone ngalandako chakwe bati imo mwayishiro chibembe fo chilanda
mkwai
chibembe chilanda ti butembere ngo burire ifi yakwe bati mulechite fintu beni mulechite ifo fema Zambia ngafesi afuma mkolanda bayo katwate mwefyongo ile kuna kwata PF jina libati fifi lechitike katore fifuaya so imwe kwati ba Cosmas ufoni ngamira ko ebeni bakateka balalanda pojenze pa fyongo uko bati tabare fo fyongo but behind futi ifi lechitika fia pantu tabalanda ko chicho so ko bati balabantu bekateni mubalonge kwani mumbi mulanda pati nani wa pamande buro wa iruma ura wa PF ya black ya poria bali mlekera lebo mbana nomba hapo pamande bwapo ale kula shopu hapo ati umuntu alimeti bala muleti mono ko bale posta ko janisha naba muma naba mocha ko so ifo fifi ngota file kitambo but background tena mkiro ko ishibasi ko bati tapali buni na palita andi ukuya ko na muleya na ngumulande cyane muleya epo na pere
Natasha Mwila from Garden. Let's take some more on 0955-22-1515. That's the number you're calling us for your participation. Good morning.
Morning, how are you, Mr. Moderator?
I'm fine, thank you. Thank you for calling. Please share your name and where you're calling us from.
My name is Philemon from Chiturika, Zambia.
Yes, Philemon, please go ahead.
Morning, Chileshe, mwabuka shani boss.
Philemon, kuchiturika kulishani kwena?
No, kulisha wino, kulisaka kulishani boss.
Au kwena tulifya wino? Ni ifi fine ifya fyongo. Fintu tule chitadi unafyo.
No, ifyongo ya tole for the new Don government. Sure. Indeed, what happened ku Kabwe can code for a well-being Zambian or a person who oppose and violence. You know, in this country, we have labored on this beautiful platform to say we should do respect to judiciary. You know, Mr. Lubinda is facing an injunction. Why did he find himself there? You know? So these are the questions. On the other hand, we should be asking these leaders. You know, when you are a leader, you should respect the constitution. Respecting constitution means respecting all these three arms of government. When they say you, Mr. Chiturika Zambia, you are arrested, you cannot leave Chiturika, not until 3 years elapses. Then I have to adhere to that, for the sake of respecting the constitution. I'm not saying what happened to Kudakuchani was good. Mr. Ruvinda also is a stubborn man. He was told, can you stop holding these party meetings? These are the problems. These leaders are into violence. They are used. We don't want to find ourselves in this where we came from. That's why they head of state.
Philemon, who told?
No retribution. People are not listening.
Philemon, who told Salubinda not to have party meetings?
Very good. What does the injunction talks about? They are trying to be corrected. They are taking each other to my court. How was advised? When somebody setting an injunction and they were told what not to do, they could have adhered to that. If he was staying in you can remember, the head of state was campaigning, was it Tito and Kavushi? He was stopped there from campaigning. And with the head of state, and Tito Kavushi. He had to stop those campaign, not until everything was addressed in court. Which is the man respects the constitution, is what I'm trying to say here. When you are given an injunction, you have to respect that injunction. It doesn't mean that when you respect that injunction, you stop to be yourself. These leaders sometimes, this country, mind you, it's a peaceful nation. This country will be plunged into town because of these leaders that we have. These leaders who cannot even respect the constitution, whether you like it or not, as a Zambian, let us respect the constitution. Let us respect the judiciary. Because
thank you.
Let us admire these other neighboring countries. Ask Rwanda now, Congo, how they are suffering in these neighboring countries.
Thank you, Mr. Philemon. Thank you.
Yeah. In conclusion, they have become political refugees. They have become economic refugees because of the leaders. So I'm urging all the leaders in this country that we should respect the constitution.
Thank you.
Let us not celebrate when somebody is attacked. Then you start celebrating at all.
Thank you, Philemon. 0955-221515 is the number you're calling us on if you'd like to add a voice to our conversation. Good morning. Hello, good morning. Okay, we'll take another one. 0955-221515 is the number you're calling us on. Let's take another one. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Moderator.
How are you today?
I'm okay.
Great. Your name, sir, and where are you calling us from?
Mutare calling from Kabwe.
Yes, one Mutare.
Bamutale mwashuka ntwebe niko fyachitiko ko Kabwe. Nemkwaitowe nko tofu.
Mkwai batete kwa mwokire mu offices. Mara ndata kwa kaveka dalizi. Papie kwetu sawa kunishe mu murandu wa fyo. Namba vya chike mairo. Jadi vipasan very bad. It is very unfortunate. Bakiva ruendera bakwete meeting. Mama makadazi basho kuma kuna bakira jaje ama offices ya government ya ama offices ya makadazi. Urutera vile ba report. Sasa wakumina kuma offices kurafuta bapanga meeting yabenye ama makadazi. Ese baishire itano kutata ataki banani bagiye ngwini. Bara given win bani bani tere futi baki yashi bakaramba. Ukwamba kubakora mutama akibashire nemi na ikeze bashire kuno. Nemanga tako bati baraikare bibache ishara abachani. Ishara bapamuriro. Ba provincial district ba provincial chairman yaba kuno ku central province. Bare bakanya makadazi bawo. Kadi yumu inarara ndati ngo tu apangire because bagive ngata bakwete peni. Namba kati shoko tu. Ngata kwa peni. Ama kadazi yeni ngaka mukuma batira nganyuka polisi kati kundoko. Ufunde kati shoko ya kumeli ale reji UPND. Yari ripata tawe numfyanyu kwambo kumuma. Basike basi njako sa kuipaya. Because after what tafiria, ebe baina kuma usezi kwa bana mkufore ndaramu. Sawa watimine badi dazi ya UPND abakaramba.
Are you sure Bamutare? Are you sure Bamwalimu onati bali amukufora after violence? Nomba uli omulumendo Bamutare uli omulumendo baleti ati acting district chairperson nabakana kuno kuchipanuko bati tewa UPND otabamwishi.
Why kubatikala muno matereka mwewe mpoko kubatikala muno mwina why njoo mina bagire kunja kwempa twalibe jangwa kuitalo kutali na batie kubera bale karate bantu bese tinkatika kuri batie setwa twali bakunya kwanda bwali okumweba bombe pabyo mwatulaire ekani kushira buti amara tuwe tirana mutona wera business murechi amara tukubyaro kumbati wewe na Zambia turechura wamba kwa pera ndama makata zikura kumaura batema nikuza ture yeje sika kuti ngora vyana muno zeto adikenza tebyeto byana neje ati uri wa president Twana ni mwana chingora president katakwa ati namu mbanyira pati bya mutwa William Anda bawora watu wana soko ni market kama mwasenda mavoters kadi yetu kurara so mshaji ya taweni na utaka ati mula kitaro muri yo disetting tamujwa kwa sawa mshaji ya taweni na mbali jambo kusikika katika kwa tulia kwa hao muropo kuntani watu wana Zambia tawaza kere mwao bare rara ni sare no mama no kura wapuma izera unfortunately ngombe wi
Bamutale, maybe before tamlaya Bamutale, since you have said that mwali bamona Abaishida, are you able to identify and help the police by naming them to the police?
Police oko bale bakalamba bakapokolopo bale bale ikataba jibe kunenja police oko bali. Police oko bali akura police bagibe kunanga bakwiriye parape. Ina tulera nanga ya chidi.
Also you are saying actually the police that rescued Honorable Lubinde.
Oko bali ba police ba kunije ba ndafwa senda ni moto kama kajaje ba police ba komkere. Kai bali beka house in charge. Eba ile apokolo ngamba tije moto kayoko bali mkubatwara. So evani bakateka nimbinga baombya kwa William makalimbijara tepa bandu bibitera no mali kumuriyo.
Thank you very much, Bamutale. What we can now say is that let's wait for the police to make a statement and then we see what action they have taken. I totally agree with you and everyone else, Philemon from Tulika, Mr. Mwila from Garden as well, on the issue of violence. We condemn and would like to see that the police who were present, as you are saying, they will be able to inform the nation so that we understand what happened and what arrests have been made regarding those people. And where you know some of those, this was our appeal that kindly assist the police with this information so that the culprits can be brought to book.
Great, thank you very much. Let's take one more. Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
How are you today?
I'm okay, and how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Please say your name and where you're calling us from.
You are talking to Mr. Chilonda Rusaka.
Brother Morgan.
Yeah.
Yes, Brother Morgan Chilonda. Please go ahead.
Zachariah Banda.
Yes, please go ahead.
That. Yeah. And good morning, the guest.
Morning, Mr. Morgan Chilonda. You're welcome, sir.
No, the first issue what we are talking about the electricity. You know that we had a drought, and that drought affects us, all of us. And when you say drought, electricity comes from the water. If you don't have a rain, then we have got a problem. But we have seen the government also bringing solar system, hydropowers. Also in the northern province, we're talking about in Mbala, where there is a Tumba. They are putting hydropower everywhere. It takes place. And they also bring in coal into Samba solar plant so that to cushion these issues. But they must put up stops because this is now, we are talking about small and medium industry. We are talking about salons, welders, and other issues that have been affected to earn their income. That's the point, number one. Number two, we are talking about peace. You know, violence started a long time ago. Within, I don't know if you are there in a unit where there was ANC and the unit throwing stones. That violence started that time. Somebody is listening. Somebody is listening can tell you the fact who was there. So now the point here, we should continue and we don't be tired. Say no to the violence. Politics is not about violence. And those political leaders who have a tendency
to buy beers for the children and these youth to go and beat others must come to an end and must be punished so that they can know that violence is bad. Because we are all one Zambia, one nation. 73 tribals, we are all the one. The motto of the same one Zambia, one nation should continue. And the peace which we have enjoyed from the 1 year should continue. Because for us, politicians should not divide us. Just because of to end political mileage. That should come to an end. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Do you want to react? Let me take probably one last call. Good morning. Hello, good morning. Oh, we lost it. We'll still get one last call on 0955221515. We lost that one as well. Let's see if we can pick this one. Good morning.
Yes, good morning, sir.
Morning. Thank you very much for calling. Please share your name and where you're calling us from.
Yeah, this is Mr. Manda calling in Tanzania.
Mr. Manda, have you put us on speaker? We can hardly hear you.
Okay, let me do. Okay, am I clear here?
Much better, thank you. Please go ahead.
All right. Yeah. Yeah, I'm in Tanzania where we just receive electricity 2 hours. It comes at 02, then it goes at 04. So I wonder what kind of a country we are living in now. Because to be realistic, this president was on the ground. If they were saying, Dubai, there's no lens, but they receive power 24/7. And when he was in position, he had a lot of solutions. But when he came in, he was bringing his friend. His friend used to have electricity 20 hours, but 4 hours not shedding. It was only 4 hours. But to him, it is 22 hours without electricity. The whole country is dark. Now, you know what is almost surprising me is this, sir. The UPND, they are saying they have scored. But which is scoring? People are complaining on the ground that things are not okay. We are complaining that things have gone so bad. And look at the way 50 kwacha, if you have 50 kwacha, the way it gets finished. Just you buy 2 things, then it goes. You see? Now, I'm failing to understand where they are saying, no, we have scored. But scoring, it is when people are benefiting. Now, I don't know who are benefiting, where they are saying they have scored. You see? Then the other thing, this violent thing, is being sponsored by these so-called leaders in UPND. Look, when HH was attacked there, we were told that about 24 guys were arrested. But coming to this violence which happened to Secretariat, TPF Secretariat in Ikawe, there's no one who has been arrested. But
we seem to have lost, but we got the message. I think we did. That was our last caller as we begin to respond, and then we get into conclusions and close. So,
Yeah, 2 key things from our callers. The issue of violence. As a party, we have made our position very clear that we condemn those acts. And we stand with every Zambian who is calling on the police to ensure that perpetrators are brought to book. And we want to restate and echo those sentiments. But they have their own way with which they investigate matters, but they are aware of concern from members of the public. It could be today, could be tomorrow, but would like to see the police settle this matter in ensuring that those that have been identified, including some of our callers who can even stand as witnesses once these matters are taken to court, members of the public should be free to give this information to the police, because the police also are just human beings like ourselves. They have their own limitations, so they can only act on information much as they can see those videos. But the truth of the matter is that they don't know those people. It is members of the public who are living with those people that should volunteer such information so that quickly the culprits are brought to book. Those that are known, like we say Akana Kamila and Dukala Isosela, making reference to the disowned person from Kabwe who made statements that they were involved in this. So that is a clear case. I think it should start from such a person who then can give leads to other people that he committed that crime with. And I think it's straightforward. Even one person, at least to show that justice has been done to this action. Again, I want to stand with the people in ensuring that justice is done. Let the police inform the nation of the action which has been taken. With regards to load shedding, I think that point has been labored.
Yeah.
We have demonstrated on this platform the efforts that this government is doing in addressing the energy crisis. But suffice to say that there are certain short-term measures that government through the power utility company has undertaken. For instance, they are selected 21 compounds countrywide that have been given a longer supply of electricity. I think the last meeting we had with CESCO management, they talked about supply between 10 to 15 hours in certain selected 21 compounds where the most vulnerable are those that cannot afford maybe other alternatives like solar have been installed on their on their houses. There are these mitigating measures that ZESCO is doing. Government has gone to procure generators which have been installed in selected markets so that those who are doing business, saloons, barbershop, are given that a power supply as a short-term measure. But the long-term measure are these great infrastructure development that we are talking about. It cannot be a plug and play to sort out the issue of load shedding. There's this period with which these infrastructures are supposed to be built. I think the last one took about 10 months or so to set up that solar plant. The president, when commissioning, he was grateful that the phase 2 may take about 7 months to complete with the construction. So there are these periods that have to be undertaken to come up with these solar plants are reducing on the energy deficit. But that effort should be recognized and appreciated. Somebody was saying that the president made reference to, is it Dubai, and challenged the issue of leadership, which is still the same. Look at the leadership the president has provided in coming up with a solution to this problem. Previously, there has been no government that invested heavily in this direction that we have taken. And this is the understanding that Zambians, we are trying to make them understand so that we can have a mutual kind of understanding while we are trying to find a lasting solution to this problem. But again, I want to appreciate the Zambians that have sacrificed, and I'm using the word sacrifice, which word probably was not mentioned. I keep saying when Chuluba was coming into office, he stood on a platform and asked Zambians to say, are you ready to sacrifice as we clean up the economy? At the time he took it over from Dr. Kaunda. And Zambians said yes. Probably this time our president did not go for sacrifice, and that is why they just want things done without having this kind of understanding the situation with which we inherited this economy, things that we are faced with, such as floods, pandemics, the drought. But despite all these challenges, including that of debt, which was a python, because we couldn't have any savings to channel into social sectors of the economy to fund free education and other services. But you can see the trajectory with which the UPND administration has recovered this economy, which was dead, to bring about stabilization and to bring about the growth that we are now focused on. And this is where we are. So somebody cannot say, oh, Muleya. No, we are not going anywhere. We are here to stay. We are the most experienced political party in the country, if I may put it that way. The 23 years that the UPND has spent in opposition, the 20 years, has given the party a lot of experience, which now is being reflected that within 4 years, you can see the kind of achievement that has been recorded. And these are the gains that we want to consolidate. You cannot change government like the way you'd want to change a shirt. There has to be stability in terms of implementing these economic plans. And so far, the foundation with which President Hakainde Hichilema has laid in his first term of office, you are going to see that in his second term, and this is the appeal. The president, I think, in my view, is one of the most hardworking presidents that we've ever had. And his hard work is there for everyone to see. I go to bed, rest assured that there's leadership in place that is working night and day. And we need to see this and give credit where it is due. Yes, there are these issues that we are faced with that have impacted us on the cost of living, affecting our daily life. We are all affected, including us members of UPND. We are not exempted from the load shedding, but we understand the efforts that we are doing in terms of bringing up a solution and ending this challenge. So I would like to restate our commitment that there can never be a better government in place than what we have now. There can never be a better leader in place than what we have. Up to now, the opposition doesn't even have a leader. What time will they have to sell that leader who is not even prepared to lead this country? So while there's that confusion, which we understand in overall the opposition, because it has never been this way, where a few months before the general election, the opposition doesn't even have a leader we can look at to be a threat or anything. But of course, the Zambians who we are looking at, they appreciate. That is why, even from the time we assumed office up to now, at parliamentary level, local government level, you can see how the UPND has been growing from strength to strength. Even those that did not vote for the UPND in 2021, now they have seen what sort of leadership that we have provided. So we are confident of winning the 2026 general elections in a doubled manner of votes that we received in the last election. By design, yes, the opposition is in disarray in that manner. Probably in my language, we say, that is the confusion we keep seeing in the opposition. There's just confusion. And that is not a leadership you can bring in to come and disturb these efforts that we have made in the last 4 years that we've been in office. So we are confident of scooping by a landslide. We can only urge Zambians, first of all, to appreciate them for having stood with us, and then give them a great assurance that the future of the Zambian economy is bright under the leadership of President Hakainde Hichilema.
Mr. Cosmas Chileshe, editor of the UPND Media Team, I would like to say thank you very much for coming to this program today. And of course, we can only wish you and the party all the best, especially as we head towards campaigns. Well, maybe the festivities first, and sure, then, back and obviously ready for the campaigns. All the best, and we hope to have a chat soon.
Thank you very much. Once again, just to thank our callers, let them be assured that all their concerns have been taken note, and we stand with them. The things they are calling for are the things even us in the UPND would like to see, especially with regards to the arrest of these culprits that have been causing criminality in the name of the party.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And also thank you, yes, to you, our listener, for having followed our conversation, and especially those that managed to come through and participated in the conversation that we had today. But more sincerely, I would like to thank our partner radio stations, Isunga FM. Isunga FM is in Northern Province, Senga Hill to be precise, and also Katete FM in Eastern Province. Thank you. Spice FM in Central Province. So is ZFM, Tuta FM in Mansa, Muchinga Radio in Chinsali, iWave FM Radio in Chingola, and Platinum Radio in Indola, both of those covering the rest of the Cooper Belt. We will be back, God willing, next week for both Tuesday and Thursday editions of The Burning Issue. From all of us here is goodbye and take care of yourselves and more so of each other. Bye-bye.
Tune in next week for another edition of The Burning Issue, and thank you for your participation. Democracy and freedom of expression is about tolerating the views that you don't like from someone you might not like.